I don't know how quite to label this video. I don't know what series we're going to call it. It's definitely not a culture study, but it was inspired by a comment I saw recently on my reaction and review for X1's Flash. They said something along the lines of, I wish you had gone deeper into the production of the video, specifically the editing, because that's the part I was most intrigued by. And here's the thing. So was I. But doing reactions on my set is a completely different story from actually getting to break down the music video bit by bit, actually from an editing standpoint, because then I would actually need to be on a computer, kind of pick it apart. And that's not as easy because then I would need a computer on my set, and fortunately my set's not big enough for that. So occasionally, if there's a video that does intrigue me in the aspects of editing, I actually want to go ahead and break it down for you guys. So if this is something that you guys would like to see a continued interest in, let me know in the comments down below. And please remember, this isn't meant to be a reaction or a review. This is a very different format. We're not going to be talking about the song. We're not going to be talking about anything other than the actual editing aspects of the production. And so if you want to see my reaction and reviews for any of the music videos that I do cover in this series, I will probably have already done a reaction to them, so you can go ahead and watch that on my channel. All right, now for today's video, we are going to be watching ITZY's It's Icy. It's a very fun music video. I love the song. In fact, it might be my song of the year, but when I watched it, I thought it was very, very interesting. So let's actually go to the computer. Okay, so we've pulled ITZY into our editing program, Premiere CC, in case there are any advanced controls that we want, any exaggerated close-ups or wanting to slow things down. So yeah, let's just check it out. So this is the important part about this music video that I want everyone to pay attention to. A lot of, like, if you look at like the edge around here, that's actually pretty darn clean, and it's because they're dealing with buildings, because relatively buildings have very set dimensions. They're not going to move, so as long as it's still shot, it's gonna be pretty easy to actually kind of cut it out and put in these interesting, loud, colorful backgrounds. But there are some pretty gnarly tricks that they pull off later on, so just know that this is gonna play a bigger role in the video down the line. That was pretty cool. I remember when I saw that the first time, I thought that was really insane. If we look at the transition, let's kind of slow it down. Wow, that's pretty instant. Let's see how instant it actually is. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna cut about this much. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna slow it down by like a lot. So let's slow it down to about 30%. It's not gonna look good. It's gonna be really choppy. Wow, even then, it's a pretty quick... Yeah, there's no actual transition. They just straight up had an artist rendering plastered right on there. And it looks like the art style that they're going for is kind of like that pop art style, right? But if you look, because it's like the lining and everything is exactly accurate, it looks like a really clean cut. But they didn't actually add anything else. Wow, that's really cool. Okay, so let's keep watching. Oh, that right there is my friend MJ. Proud of her for being in this video. Whoa, that transition was dope. Hold on. Let's take a look at this. Wow, okay, so this is where it starts getting a little bit complex. So they go ahead and they key her out, and then the transition here is the background. So first they get rid of the background and they key her out. Ooh, looks like they bleed a little into her dress as well. That's cool. They make this transition look so smooth by actually keeping the background. See, it's the same background with just, look, if you look at the dotted patterns, it's all the same. They just changed the actual hue on it to a different color, and then they replace the actual keyed actor, which in this case is Yeji. Wow, that's cool. And then they even keyed out her apple and her jacket as well. And then, wow, that transition is so smooth. But then they keep it on the apple. Wow. Okay. It's a green apple too, so they actually... Okay. Alright, let's see this side again. Wow, that transition is so smooth. Whoa, okay. This is the thing I love about K-pop music videos, and I'm glad I'm doing this series because this is the one thing I don't really get to touch on. I talk about how like, oh, that transition was cool, that transition was cool, but we can never really get too into detail about why something was cool. But if we actually kind of break this down, so this shot of her right here, as they kick out, they pull out, but they punch in on her. So it's the complete opposite effect. So as this shot is pulling out, they're zooming in the next shot. It creates such a dynamic, strong effect, but there's another transition where they're pulling out on her and then they pull out here. So it's multiple transitions in one shot. Oh, no, hold on, there's more. So then they zoom in, boom. And I think they're pulling out actually last minute. Yeah, they're pulling out at the last minute. So they zoom in, boom, punch. They're pulling out just a little, but it transitions into this cut right here. Wow. So there's just a lot going on. Okay. Let's look at this one more time. It's like small editing tricks like that. Really, it's not that hard. You can either do it in post or you can do it actually on set. Although doing that on set would be way more annoying than it actually needs to be. But even just like having transitions like that honestly makes your music video so much more refreshing and interesting. And this is kind of what sets it apart from other K-pop music videos that are a little bit under average in terms of the production quality. Good editing takes a video a long way, and it's really hard to find skilled editors who can actually accentuate dance. But in just those few transitional moves, they actually made that part of the choreography very punchy and very dynamic. And not a lot of K-pop music videos can do that. Okay, you know what's really cool about these shots? This is less about editing, and this is actually the rig. I would love to know what they were shooting on. I don't know if they shot with a bolt or not. From the performance music video, it looks like they might have shot with a bolt. But if you actually look at this shot, it's kind of hard to tell, but everything is really shaky, but Yeji is not. So the camera work is really shaky all around her, but she herself is not. I don't exactly know how they pulled this off. This is actually a really cool effect. Yeah, see, the way the camera bounces up and down, it definitely, it's not real camera shaking. Like, you know when someone holds a camera and their hands are really shaky? That's not shaky camera work. That right there is intentional shake. In fact, I'm wondering, no, it can't be post-production camera shake. Unless, oh man, I'm really trying to figure out how they did this. Ooh, a little speed ramping there. So if you actually go back, slow-mo, glorious glamour shot, and then they speed it up real quick, call it speed ramping, and then they go right back into the slow-mo. Very cool. I would say the effect is definitely most popularized from the movie 300. They had a lot of speed ramping from slow-mo to really fast, slow-mo to really fast, and it definitely works for dance as well. Ooh, again. Wow, that's a lot of ramping. Hold on. So this entire sequence with her is actually, like, it's a mix of slow-mo and speed ramping. So, like, even there was, like, a little bit of sped up, just a little, but then right back into slow-mo, and then boom, right there. When she whips the camera, boom. That shot's really cool. That shot's really cool. I love this shot. I think this slow-mo shot, even though it's a dirty alley, I mean, if you actually look at it, it's a pretty darn dirty alley, and I actually know which alley they shot this in because I actually recognize that green shrubbery right there. I've actually shot there before. This is also in downtown LA. But yeah, if you look at it like this, That slow-mo is so dope. Good timing on the cut right there. It almost feels like she's pulling down the next shot. That's very clever. This whole sequence. I mean, this is why I'm convinced this was definitely shot with a bolt arm. It's basically a digital, mechanical camera arm. Hold on. Was that... I think that was VFX. Yeah, that's not real. Okay, so this shot right here where it says up we go, it's not real. If you actually look at it, if you look, see? When you move the frame little by little, obviously you can't tell when you're watching the video like this, but when you actually move the frame little by little, it's moving, but not with the actual frame. So I think they did use the whatever construction thing this is as a point to tie the letters, but this is definitely in post-production. Like you can tell that the letters sort of live on their own. They're in their own space. They're not flat enough onto the actual board. Just a little interesting tidbit. Okay, I love these shots right here. This entire section where it's cutting into like the outro. It's almost like mesmerizing to look at it. So like, I actually got to see this live when they performed at KCON LA, and seeing it live is awesome, but it's definitely not the same as watching the music video. And I figured that was going to be the case because I could already tell one of the things that was making this shot really cool and making this final part of the dance really cool was the actual editing and the camera work. So if you look, obviously, like as they're moving their hips, the camera is also swaying with them. So then that pushes in right there. But if you look, starting from Yeji all the way to Yuna, and then right before Ryujin, it's as they're swaying side to side with their hips. I don't know if this was done in post or if this was done actually on set. They could have done either one, but it tilts ever so slightly with the camera. Yeah, okay. So it looks like when their hip goes up one way, the camera dips the other way. So she went up this way, so the camera tilted down this way. And I believe the same should be for Yuna as well. Yeah, she goes up here, the camera dips to the right. She goes up to her left, and then it dips to our left. Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so before we get into this final part, I did a reaction for ITZY's ICY with one of the producers on the song. Her name is Ashley Alicia. You guys should go check her out. And we were watching this music video together, and we're seeing this part and the next part that we're going to see outside. She said, "I wonder how they did that." And ever since she said that, I rewatched the music video, and it's very clever. So I actually want to show this to you guys. So this scene right here. So this part as well. So what's really cool about that is that it's fucking fake. Not as in like fake, but like some of it is green screen. And they composited the girls in. Okay, so let me actually show you guys. So it's actually kind of cleaner in the indoor scene, probably because you're controlling a lot more light. So if you look at the elements, it's constantly moving. So in the background with the girls, at least, I believe the ITZY girls are actually in this scene. If you look on the side of Yeji, the rim light right there is emulating the light around these people. And it's got a slight hint of like a turquoise cyan color to it, and so does the skin color around Yeji. And the background is moving. If you actually look, the girl on the left actually blinks. So the background is not completely still. But one of the fake things about this scene is obviously the paper. You can actually see like like the paper is not completely straight and cut. Not enough shadow elements on the paper. There should be way more shadow all over the paper with this kind of lighting. But one of the dead giveaways, this guy, pretty clean, lighting doesn't work, but this guy is the dead giveaway. If you actually zoom in on this dude's hand right here, you can tell that it's been cut. Let me just actually, yeah. So if you actually go zoom in on his hand, see? What they did was they essentially took the actors from that scene, cut them out or put them against a green screen, and then if you look, he is an element that's on top of the girl's video. That's fucking dope. That's dope. But yeah, it's right here. When he interacts and blends with the other elements, you can actually see around his finger that this shadow is a natural, and it's actually the keying out. And then this scene. So when I was reacting with Ashley, this was the one where she was like, I wonder how they did this. This for sure is all fake, and it's crazy how fake it is. So I believe that the girls are on a soundstage, and so are the dancers. I believe this set isn't even real. Here's why. So one of the biggest dead giveaways, if you actually look really closely, is the lighting, the shadows, and the background. So when I look at their shadows, the first thing I noticed was, that's not how that should look. And if you actually go earlier in the music video, that's not how the shadow looks. So if you compare the final scene with this scene, let me actually show you the differences. First of all, as you can see, the shadow sort of fades out. However, here you can actually see their entire shadow. That doesn't match up. Even if you look at this indoor scene right here, their shadows are faint. You don't actually see a direct outline of them. It almost looks like a police lineup of a dead body. Like, that is not a realistic shadow. It's too clean, it portrays too much of their body, and it's too well-rounded. It doesn't fade out. So the shadow is a dead giveaway. But another thing I actually spotted that's really interesting is actually the background. So immediately I thought the background looked strange because it looked too crisp, like way too crisp for video crisp. And if you actually compare the background, so I want you to take a look at the sky. It's got a sort of light baby blue tone to it. And then I actually want you to take a look at the colors of the buildings. And then I'm going to cut directly to this shot right here. Completely different. Even the color of the buildings don't match. The colors of the buildings right here, it's a little bit more brown, even where it's not like an actual dark brown. Even this tan color doesn't look as tan in this shot. And then the biggest giveaway is the sky. The sky is blown out in the other footage where it's just bright white because they're shooting in broad daylight. But if we bring it back here, it's actually blue. And so everything's a little bit too sharp. And then the elements of the dancers. The dancers, you know, they're not really actually touching the floor. If you actually look at this whole sequence right here. Obviously, they're jumping around. But they're using that to their advantage to actually portray that the dancers aren't there as well. So, I mean, they're able to have these tricks of like these dancers flying and not fitting in screen because I believe the dancers are on sound stages as well. But one of the biggest dead giveaways, I think, is their shoes. So I would say there are several shoes in this shot that kind of give it away. Let's see. She looks perfectly fine, but Ryujin's definitely, if you look at this foot right here, this is too flat of an image. See, her foot is not actually connecting with the ground. It's actually like almost like Photoshop where she was cut out and she's pasted on top of the layer of the ground. Same goes for Yuna right here. This one, her left leg might be a little bit believable, but this lift up right here, there's actually no dimension to this. Like she's lifting her foot, but I feel like the shadows aren't actually tracking properly. Yeah, that shadow is not realistic to her foot right there. And then actually this shot right here, I believe in the back, yeah, her shoe right there, that's not real either. That's not legit either. And then you look at Yeji's boots. Now, I don't know if it's actually like this, because if you look on the lining right here, it's got sort of a bluish tint to it. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, or if they're on a soundstage with a blue backdrop and that's the actual blue backdrop reflecting onto her. It's like when you do green screens and you see like a little bit of the green on the feathering, because the reflective material of these boots kind of confuse me. It's a little bit like a Xenon 21st Century Girl type of boot, but if you look here, it's kind of hard to tell because she's in the back. There's a bit of blue, so I guess it's not too much of a dead giveaway, but it looks much more bolder in that shot. But here, if you just look at them, the more you stare at it, even now, if you look at her boots, her back heel, that's not touching the ground, and that's way too straight. So the more you stare at it, you realize, oh, after they finished wrapping on this location or before, they took a photo of the set. They're using that layer as the background, and then on a sound stage, they took the girls, the dancers, they probably had the dancers do it separately, and then they tried to match the lighting as much as possible. And to their credit, it's very believable. It's very believable that this is the same as this. But when you compare it side to side, even someone who is not into filmmaking can already see that the lighting is off. It's not the same. So I would say that is probably the most interesting part of the video for me. And so that's why I wanted you guys to actually keep a lookout on sort of them cutting out the girls a lot, or cutting out the background and kind of compositing in and kind of like inserting things. A lot of the music video is very loud and very bold and kind of in your face with sort of the effects they throw at you and sort of like the artsy stuff. But all of that is sort of like a distraction. It's sort of like a magic trick. And because everything is so loud and bold, they actually hide their greatest trick without telling anyone, kind of seamlessly in the background. So this is actually really, really, really cool. I hope you guys had fun coming along with me and picking apart this video. I've done a lot of editing in my life, so I love watching things and trying to pick it apart and see how it was made and sort of the tricks that people pull off to make something work. Mind you, I'm not the best editor in the world. I'm not even saying I'm a good editor, but I just love always learning. And just watching this video, I think, wow, what an amazing process to go about to pull off such a wonderful video. And so I learned a lot, and I want to take you guys on this journey with me as I learn. You know, I'm not teaching anybody anything. All I'm really doing is just sharing with you guys what I already know and trying to make my own educated guesses and learning new stuff all together. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Just like leave a comment, and whatever video you guys want me to pick apart next, please leave a suggestion in the comments down below. And you know, who knows, if I like your suggestion, I might shout you out in the next video. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this. This was a fun little side project from our usual culture study videos, and I hope to make more videos like this soon. If you guys would like to support us, I'm trying to do my own thing. I'm trying to actually make my next short film, and we kind of need some financial support doing that. So if you guys would like to support my films and you want to see what I can pull off, head on over to Patreon. I don't actually make any money from doing these YouTube videos, so you guys can actually go there and support me monetarily if you want, and you get some added perks of early access to videos and drama club where we watch Korean dramas together and I react to it, and we have variety show reactions and live stage reactions. So all that good stuff is on Patreon. If you want some extra added bonus content, something to, you know, have a little fun, relax, and, you know, support us monetarily, that's the best way to do it. However, please understand that, I want you guys to know, do not feel pressure to support our Patreon. Supporting us monetarily is completely optional. If you want to support us, but you don't have the funds to do it, or you just don't want to, I completely understand. Just hitting like down below actually helps us out a lot. If you actually leave a comment, it helps us out a lot with YouTube search algorithm. In fact, if you go ahead and not just leave YouTube and go ahead and watch a suggested video, maybe one of our other videos, that actually helps me out a lot. Hitting the end cards actually helps me out with YouTube search algorithm. So if you would like to support us, you can do that. If you're new, if you enjoyed this video, you want more videos like this, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and go ahead and check out the end cards. Again, if you guys check out any of our end cards, that actually supports us a lot, so I would greatly appreciate it. Anyways, be sure to leave your suggestions in the comments down below, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.